So if you're watching this video, it's probably because you fall into three different categories. Either somebody from PHP shared this video with you because you're thinking about making a move to PHP and you're wondering why everybody calls our compensation structure the sexiest comp plan in all of the financial industry, insurance industry. Number two, you're watching this because you are in PHP. Maybe you've been away for a little while and you're watching this video saying, let me see what's going on with PHP. What is the story about an $8 million cash bonus PHP is thinking about paying in 2020? And last but not least, you may be watching this because you've been in PHP, you are in PHP, you're performing, you want to get back into the mindset of thinking what the comp plan is working like today so you can do a better job presenting it to other people. Having said that, let me kind of give you an idea what's going on in the marketplace today. Think about it this way. 10 years ago, Tikran shows me a video saying, Pat, in this video, you said one day a president's going to come to our convention. One day Kobe Bryant's going to come to our convention, the late Kobe Bryant. One day, Magic's going to be at our convention. One day, the greatest comedian at the time is going to come to the convention. And you look 10 years later, President Bush was at our convention. How's that even possible? That's never happened in any of our competitors' companies. When it comes down to insurance, Kobe Bryant was at our convention. The video got 100 million views, shared on WorldStar, TMZ, NBC, CBS, ESPN, everywhere. Magic Johnson, Wayne Gretzky, Kevin Hart performed his irresponsible tour for us that you have to spend $1,000. What is going on with PHP? All of this stuff taking place, and that's not even close with us about to do our convention right now, September 1st. At MGM Grand Arena. And at that point, we're going to launch our new app. When we launch the new technology and the new app, the marketplace is going to say, you got to be kidding me. It's going to take them at least 18 to 24 months to develop the same exact app that we're about to launch to all of you on September 1st. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because there are certain times in the marketplace.
Brutal day on Wall Street.
Obviously, a lot of people watching and wondering what's going to be happening.
Right. Stocks plunging, as you can see there.
Where you look at what's going on, okay? Where you look at what's going on. I remember for myself, for me, it was when I first got into the financial industry after I got out of the military in 2001, I kind of started seeing the market is tanking after 9/11. I got started in 9/10. Everybody's afraid. My broker sat me down, Dave Kirby, says, Patrick, this is not a good time to be in the industry. It's going to be good 10 years from now, but these are going to be some of the toughest times. And one by one, guys were leaving. A guy named Shaq and all these other guys, they're leaving. And I'm like, man, I don't know what to do, but I'm liking this stuff. And I stuck around. Then 2008, market tanks 38%.
Watching this market deteriorate. We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4-5%. We're down over 16%.
All these loan officers, mortgage guys, real estate title rep, all these guys are, wait a minute, I'm looking for stuff. Then next thing you know, Marlene, Hector, Erica, all these guys from real estate start looking at, wait a minute, what is going on with they started looking at this industry, and I stuck around. Then it went bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. From a small little agent to building a company today. With the last time I did this compensation structure in 2017, late 2017, in the video I say we have 3,200 agents. While you watch this video, we're around 3,800 agents nationwide in 49 states, including Puerto Rico, with 120 plus offices. How did this take place? It's because of the way we structured our compensation plan. It's because of our culture. It's because of our values. And when I look at the stories today and I look at the people, the life they're living, I remember when I first met George, when he always had an Infiniti, and he always had these cars. He's driving a 488, got an Audi for himself, got one for his dad. He's made all these different investments. You got Jason driving around in a red Aston Martin, beautiful, gorgeous Aston Martin. You see him going all over the place. You're seeing Gaetan had a Ferrari, California. He got rid of that. Then he buys the new Tesla with the, the doors that come to the side for family because they got kids now. They keep making babies. And then he ends up buying a Lamborghini, a blue one, gorgeous. I barely fit in this Huracan. Then you hear Vargas buys a yellow Lamborghini, brand new 2019, 2020. And then Ricky just bought a black Lamborghini he just bought. We got a bunch of guys with Z06s and Corvettes. And then Sapalas just bought a Rolls Royce black, drop dead gorgeous. First time I met Sapala, when I got in his car, I would open the Escalade door. You know how the doors are dinged up, and every time you open it up, you would hear that sound, ta, every time. It was so embarrassing because they would say, don't fully open it. And I was embarrassed for them because I would open it to come out, because if you went a little too far, you would hear that ta sound, right? So you would have to open it slowly. Now they're driving a black Rolls Royce. It just doesn't even make sense. John Mason, I remember John, I stayed at his family's house. John's living at a penthouse somewhere in Orlando and drives a brand new R8 Blue, gorgeous. I can go on and on and on with all these stories, but this isn't how it was before. It wasn't the way it is today when we have people making $200,000 a month, $150,000 a month, $175,000, $172,000, $148,000, $120,000. We didn't have these types of stories before. We had to earn these types of stories. But I'm gonna tell you here right now, all of this stuff is the beginning of the stories you'll hear about. $500,000 a month, $1 million a month, $1.5 million a month, $2 million a month income, because that's the direction we're going as a company. So having said that, let me get right into the first part of our compensation structure that we have, and that's purely our compensation plan. So let me get right to it. When you first come on board, the levels that we have start at the level trainee. A trainee is somebody that gets started with us, that's at 30%. To become an associate, you need to bring on board 3 business partners, 3 policies, $3,000, get licensed, you become an associate. To become an FA, you need to do 15 policies, 15 recruits, $15,000 of production within 90 days, you become an FA. To become a director, you need 30 recruits, 30 apps, $60,000. You need 6 new licensed agents and 2 direct FAs. So now to become a marketing director, which means now you're gonna participate in more bonuses, more meetings, different kind of reporting. You're now at 75% contracts at marketing director level. You need 50 recruits, 50 apps, $100,000 in 90 days with either 3 direct FAs or 1 direct director, 1 direct FA, 15 licensed agents. You do that, you become a marketing director. And so now, let's set those aside. Now let's talk about senior management position. The first one starts off with SMD, and the formula is quite simple if you follow through here with this. Senior marketing director, now you go from 75% to that additional 2%, which is 77%. To become an SMD, you need 100 recruits, 100 apps, $200,000 in 90 days. You need 2 direct MDs, 60 licensed agents to become an SMD. To become an EMD, now you need 4 direct MDs to promote. You also need 200 recruits, 200 apps, $400,000, and 120 licensed agents, you become an EMD. Then the next level is a senior vice president position, which when you become a vice president, this is a method of saying you know what you're doing, because now you've promoted 6 direct MDs, you've done 300 recruits, 300 apps, 600,000 points in 90 days, and you have 180 licensed agents. And VP is typically making $250,000 to $500,000 a year income when you become a vice president. So now the next level is to become an executive vice president. At this point of the game, you're at 80%, because SMD is 77%, then it's 78, 79. Now you're at 80% comp on anything you write and override. And to become an EVP, you need 4 direct marketing directors. You need 400 apps, 400 recruits, 800,000 points in 90 days, and 240 licensed agents to become an EVP. Then comes the council category. So you've gone from the senior and executive marketing directors. Now you've gone to senior and executive vice presidents. Now it becomes the council, which there's 3 levels: president council, chairman council, and there's board council. The board council, you get invited to a special meeting that we do every year. That's with all the carriers and the investors that are in the room. Board councils get invited to that meeting, and specific board council will be chosen to speak when they go to that meeting. But let's first talk about the President's Council. President's Council is someone who gets 10 direct MDs. You get 500 recruits, 500 apps, $1 million in 90 days, and you have 300 licensed agents. Now you're at 81%. Chairman's Council is 12 direct MDs. You do 600 recruits, 600 apps, $1.2 million with 600 licensed agents. Now you're a Chairman's Council. Then there's the Board Council, which is at 82.5% comp. To become a Board Council, you need to have 20 direct MDs. You need to do 1,500 recruits, 1,500 apps, $3 million to become a Board Council, and you need 1,500 licensed agents. You do that, now you're officially Board Council. So this is the compensation structure that we have for those that want to move up within the company. Now let me explain to generational override that we have, which means you have your office. You're out of Orlando, you're out of Chicago, you're out of LA, you're out of Memphis. You're working with Bobby. You're at 75% because you're an MD. Bobby eventually becomes an MD, but Bobby decides he wants to leave Memphis. He wants to go to Nashville. Bobby goes to Nashville. He opens up an office. You helped him become a broker. Whatever Bobby does in that office, you now make 10%, not including your senior override. So if you're an MD, 75%, and Bobby's an MD, 75%, if Bobby does $50,000 that month, you now make 10% on what Bobby did, which is 10% of $50,000 is what? $5,000 to you. $50,000 paid, you make $5,000 on that as 10%. Now, if Bobby goes and trains Larry. Larry becomes an MD, and Larry says, I want to go to Oklahoma City. Larry goes to Oklahoma City, and Larry does $50,000. Now, Bobby makes the 10% on that, which is $5,000, but you make 5% even though you did not train Larry. Bobby trained Larry, but that 5% of yours on the $50,000, another $2,500 that comes to you. So these generations go 70, 10, 5, 4, 3, 1, 1, 1. That comes up to you. A lot of times in real estate, the biggest black eye real estate brokers I get is they are so afraid of teaching all their tricks to everybody because when somebody leaves and opens up their own office, they don't get any override on them. They just leave them and go start their own company. When it comes down to the insurance side, when one of your guys you train and they leave, they get the same contract as you. They go elsewhere and they build, you still get 10% on that. And if they build somebody 5, 4, 3, 1, 1, 1. So now that's the generation override. So that's the compensation structure that we have. By the way, a couple things to keep in mind when it comes down to the products. We sell index universal life policies with incredible riders, probably the most competitive index universal life policy in the marketplace today we sell. It's through National Life Group as well as Anaco. I haven't yet seen a carrier that can compete with the index universal life policy that they sell. We've sold policies as low as $250,000, $100,000 with this index universal life with these guys. We've also had a client that put $3 million into an index universal life policy, a $24 million case. So the range is from small middle America all the way up to wealthy, some billionaires that have the ability to buy a product like this. So that's on the IUL side. We have incredible term products that are either simplified issue or ones that you can go to be the most competitive in the marketplace. We can compete with pretty much anybody when it comes down to term. And then whether it's annuities, if you roll over an annuity and say it's a $300,000 annuity, on average pay around 5 to 9%. Now let's just say on this one you get paid 7%. So 7% on a $300,000 annuity would be $21,000. If you're at a 60% contract, you would make roughly $12,600. And just so you know, the last quarter, there was $20 billion that was moved into index annuities last quarter because most of America right now is wondering with all the movements that's taking place, economy, election, what's going on with Iran, war, politics, Brexit, coronavirus, all of this stuff is getting people to be concerned. So a lot of baby boomers are saying, I can't afford another 2008. I can't afford to lose another 38%. I can't afford. I used to have clients in 2008. I would sit down with, I would say, how much you have in this account here? They say, it used to be 800, now it's 400. I need to work till 72. There's a lot of 63-year-olds that are worried about their 401k where the index annuity becomes a great product for them. And on top of that, our IUL term, index annuity, whether you want to buy universal life, final expense, any of these products, we have products that pay 100% advance of 115%. So you write the policy today, gets issued within 30 minutes, and we advance 100% of 15%, which is something that it's unheard of in the marketplace. And you can all of a sudden get a $100 check from a client. Next thing you know, you're getting a $700 check on commission that Friday. How's that even possible? That's some of the products that we have in place, whether it's National Life Group, Anaco, Foresters, Mutual of Omaha, Americo, AIG. I shouldn't even name the list because we have a long list of products that we sell. So that kind of gives you an idea about how the products work out when it comes down to the compensation structure. The other part of the compensation structure you need to be realizing is that the longer you're in this business, there is renewals. These policies have annual renewals that it goes from 1% to 2%, some 3%, some 4%. So every time the client puts in the premium, that renewal is a check that comes to you every year. And eventually you have thousands on top of thousands of renewals that next thing you know, you're looking at your direct deposit saying, how did I just get $9,000? How did I just get this $4,000 check? Where did this $11,000 just come from? It's because your block of business is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's just part of one aspect of our compensation structure I've spoken so far in the first 9 to 15 minutes, whatever the timeline is. Now let's talk about Great Equalizer Bonus Program. This is the great thing about the Great Equalizer Bonus Program. When I announced this, I will never forget this. It was a test to do it 1 month, okay? I said, here's what we're gonna be doing. I announced it 1 month and everybody was like, wait a minute, what's going on over here? What was this $11,000 check? What was this $5,000 check? What was this $4,000 check? People didn't really realize what was a Great Equalizer Bonus Program. Then I said, we're gonna go 1 more month, then 1 more month. Then I took a break for 90 days. And everybody was like, you know what, that one time we did the Great Equalizer Bonus Program, that was kind of cool. Can we bring it back? Then we brought it back, then we kept it, then we made adjustments to it. Then next thing you know, the first full year of us announcing Great Equalizer Bonus Program, I think Sheena Matsupala's got $350,000. Just Great Equalizer Bonus. That's it. Not comp, not anything else. Just from here, they got nearly $350,000 bonus given to them, Great Equalizer bonus. Now, why do we call it the Great Equalizer bonus program? Here's why. Years ago, when a person who's not that big and small and they're not strong, when a robber came in, they could take anything away from them because they were bigger, right? And someone's like, oh my gosh, all my jewelry this person took, what do I do? Then eventually when they invented the gun, they called it the Great Equalizer bonus program, because even a guy like me, my size, 6'5", 240, if a guy went there and a woman's 5 feet tall, 115 pounds, it doesn't matter. When this comes out, we're same level playing field. I can't push her around because she can compete with me based on the weapon that she, based on the tool that she has. Great Equalizer came out to allow newer guys to compete with bigger players that had been around for 15, 20 years. Because somebody that's hungrier can catch up faster. So let me explain to you how the Great Equalizer bonus program works out. Here's how it works out. It's got 5 levels. Level number 1, if you get on any calendar month 10 recruits, okay, $25,000, and you get 2 new licensed agents, we pay an additional 10% on top of your bonus as a marketing director, which means what? If the MD makes 75%, level 1 GEB means you got an additional 10% on top of your 75%. So now you're not getting paid 75%, you're now getting paid 85%. If you were a EVP that's at 80% comp and you hit level 1 GEB, you're not getting paid at 80%. You're getting paid at 80 plus another 10, which is 90%. So GEB benefited those who are in the game today, not those who are not in the game and they did stuff 7 years ago or 5 years ago. It's who's in the game today. If somebody is growing the company today, we are willing to overpay you. That was level 1 bonus. So assume you did $25,000. That additional 10% gives you an additional $2,500 that month. That could be your car payment, your house payment, your office payment, your assistant. It doesn't matter. That's paid for that on level 1. Level 2 GEB. Now it's if you do 25 recruits, 25 apps, $50,000, and for new licensed agents, it's an additional 15%. So 75 plus 15 is now 90%. When you get to level 3 GEB, this is when things change, because this is when your checks start getting big, where you're making $50,000 in a month if you hit level 3 GEB and you do it the proper way. So level 3 GEB is 50 recruits, 50 apps, $100,000, and 8 new licensed agents. When you do that, it's not 10%, it's not 15%. Now it's 25%, which means if you're a marketing director at a 75% contract, now we're giving you 100%, which means at your level, the company's breaking even. There's not money being made. You're now making more money than the company is at level 3 GEB because you're taking that additional 25% of comp and you're keeping it on the base shop category. So now let's go to level 4. Almost everybody that's done level 4 GEB, they've all made $100,000 that month. Anywhere between $100,000 to $200,000 that month at level 4. Because level 4 now it's about 100 recruits, 100 apps, $200,000, 16 new licensed agents. Now you get an additional 35%, which is 110%. Now we're losing money. The company's losing money, but we don't mind doing that because those that go above and beyond, we want to overpay you. Then it's level 5 GEB. You do level 5 GEB, you're making $200,000 to $300,000 in a month. Level 5 GEB is 150 recruits, 150 apps, $300,000, 25 new checks. Now you make 45% bonus. If you're an MD, you go from 75% to 120% of comp. In some cases, you're making 120% of 100% of 115% on a product that you're writing with Foresters, which is insane on some of these comps that we're paying out, right? So again, this comp structure excites those that are thinking to themselves, I want to go out there and work and I want to tee it up. Look, if there's ever been a time to play offense, to stack cash and get your family to be financially free, this is the time, and GEB is the way to do it. So far, I've covered 2 different things. One is our compensation structure, generational override, and I've covered GEB. Now let's get into the next, which is the vesting, and build an equity within your code number and how this works out. So let's address vesting first. What is vesting? You've been with PHP for 12 months, and you hit a minimum of FA. Whatever you ever personally wrote, you are vested with us. So if you leave and you're in good standing with us, no compliance issues, you've kept the contract with the ND, everything that's proper For the rest of your life, you are vested. Whatever you wrote here, we will pay you the renewals for the rest of your life. You don't need to be with us for 10 years like some companies. You don't need to be with us for 5 years. You don't even need to be with us for 24 months. And you don't even need major senior title to get vested. You simply need to go from trainee to associate to FA. Be with us for 12 months, you're vested for life. So that's vesting. Now let's talk about what if you want to sell your code number. You want to build your agency out and you want to sell it, at what level you can sell it. Here's the basic guidelines. Number one, you need to become a senior marketing director and be an SMD at least for 3 years. Then you need to make $100,000 minimum 3 out of the last 5 years. And you need to have a minimum of 2 active MDs in your organization. And so if you have that, now you're qualified to sell your code number. So how has your organization built its value? Everything that comes in on a monthly basis on income, outside of personal production, outside of base production, because those are behavior of you. But if you take those 2 out and your business brings in $10,000 a month, $40,000 a month, $80,000 a month, then you come out with a formula, you send it to the home office and say, I have interest in wanting to sell my code number. What are the next steps? They send you the next steps and then we go from there. So now, that's if you want to sell your code number. There's a lot more people that are interested in wanting to buy code numbers than sell code numbers. If you want to buy a code number, you need to be a senior vice president at a minimum of $250,000 a year income to be qualified to buy code numbers. That's the guidelines if you want to buy code numbers. So now you know vesting and now you know what it is if you want to sell your code number. So that's the part about the equity side. Now let's talk about the $148 million bonus that we're paying. Look, we did this last year. Last year was $1 million, $3 million, $6 million. This year it's $1 million, $4 million, $8 million. And here's how it works. The pool is broken down based on growth. You have 3 levels, and there's 3 target numbers that you have to grow. One area is recruiting. One area is paid business. The other area is how many brokers you promote, how many marketing directors direct you promote within your net senior vice president, your net VP. Based on that, whatever you did last year to this year, if you grew 75%, you go in the $1 million bonus pool. If you grow by 100%, you go in the $4 million bonus pool. And if you grow by 125%, you go in the $8 million bonus pool. And by the way, let me explain to you how this works out. For example, let's say Sapalas, Matt and Sheena Sapalas bonus pool, I believe at 125% is about $1.2 million, okay? If they hit all the 3 criterias of the 125%, they get 50% of that bonus given to them, which is $600,000 check is given to them. Personal, 1 check. Outside of this, outside of this, outside of this, this is complete separate comp we're talking about. $600,000 is given to them. Now, outside of that $600,000, $1.2 million, now we have another $600,000 that's left. That $600,000 is now divided amongst the top 5 marketing director golf score performers, and that bonus goes from the highest level to the lowest level, which means the first biggest bonus gets 50% of that $600,000, which is what? $300,000 goes to the first place marketing director in that net VP, gets that $300,000. And it goes all the way down. So this range could be anywhere between a $5,000 check to a $600,000 bonus check of this $148 million. Let me tell you, we were paying bonuses. I remember we're at an event. We were in Arizona, and I'm on stage. I'm talking to our CFO, Ian, and I'm saying, hey, so listen, and everybody's watching. Did we hit our numbers or not? I go on stage, and I bring Hector, Erica, and Marlene, their brothers and sisters. And while I'm up there, they're not looking at their phones because they're thinking I'm trying to get them to do it before. And we had to time it. I text Ian, and I say, put the bonus in. He puts the bonus in, and I announce in front of everybody, their family sitting there, these siblings, Jose and Marlene Gaetan already are making $1 million a year income, but Marlene brought on board his brother and his sister, his older brother and his older sister, her older sister. She brought them on board. Hector and Erica on stage, when I announced it, they got nearly a 6-figure check bonus. And on stage, they crossed $1 million a year income. It was the most emotional moment when that took place. We had another Alejandro who got, $69,000, $70,000 check. We had another person got $40,000. Ricky and Erica got $35,000, $40,000 check. And this was enough. By the way, this is not just them. There was other people that got checks. This is just one example, except this year, it's $1 million. It's $4 million. It's $8 million. I think we had a Tony Rojas and Cynthia. I don't know how big. They got a $30,000 check, some $34,000. I don't even know how big the check was, but they're not major players in the company. They were just somebody that fell in the top 5 golf score that grew their business and contributed the most to the bonus, and they got a nice check. So this doesn't just benefit the bigger players. It benefits anybody that's also growing the most. We set it up that way because we also want the smaller builders that are coming up that can compete with the bigger guys, because whoever grows the most and is competing the most typically gets the biggest share of that bonus. So that's a whole different side. Now, if you're watching this, you're from another company and you're saying, wait a minute, we don't have that kind of stuff. Well, we have this kind of stuff. Just so you know, I've covered several different things already for you. You're sitting there saying, well, you know, I got to tell you, I can't say good things about PHP, but secretly, I admire you guys. I love you guys. I wish I was part of you guys. You know, it's kind of like in high school when there's that fraternity, that football team, you're like, I wish I was part of that group. I totally understand. Don't be afraid. Just call and have a conversation and see if this makes sense. Maybe this could make sense for you to want to come and run one an organization like ours. So that's that part. Let me give you the last one here. First to do a number and record breakers. This one I set up for a specific reason because I want guys to be breaking records. So here's how I set it up. Let me explain to you how this one works out. This one's got different levels. So we have many records in the company. If you break a record in the company, we pay an additional $5,000 to, I don't know what the number is, $5,000 to $30,000 or $15,000, or, you know, we'll even give you a Rolex Presidential watch if you do something for the first time. If you had level 5 GB or something, we have incentives that we put to be the first to do something. So if you're watching this, you're somebody that's a competitive person and you want to break records, there's many different first twos and records to break. You break that, you get an additional bonus. Let me give you a glimpse of what some of these first twos could look like. So let's talk about base shot production. In 2020, the first person in PHP in 2020 that crosses 250 recruits, 500,000 points submitted, $350,000 placed, 25 new licensed agents, the first person that starts from 1-1. First person that gets there gets a $50,000 bonus check on top of everything else. First person that gets there, $50,000 bonus on top of everything else. Now, let's skip that. Once the first person triggers the first $50,000, what do we do next? Everybody starts at 0. From that moment, the next person that gets to the 250, 500, 25, 350 place gets the next $50,000. Say the next one's hit. Boom, everybody's at 0. The next person that gets to 50, you know, the number again, another $50,000. Another every time this happens and it's triggered, it's back to 0. It's back to 0. It's back to 0, $50,000. Now, if somebody in PHP in 2020 decides to run a 3 million point base shop, this person decides to get 1,500 base recruits, places $2.1 million of it, gets 150 new licensed agents this year, this person gets a $250,000 check. Let me say it again, $250,000 check. Not included in here, separate from this, separate from 148, that's an additional $250,000 check given to you because you ran a 3 million point base shop first before anybody else. So that's on the base shop side. Now let's talk about on the annuity side. The annuity side, we have the similar tiers built up as well. First person that cracks 5 apps, $1 million of annuities placed, $10,000 check. Next person that goes to 10 apps, $2 million, $10,000 check. Then it goes again, increments of 5 and 5 and 5. It's 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. But if anybody this year does 50 apps, annuities, places $10 million, it's another $50,000 bonus that we've given you on top of everything else. I mean, at this point of the game, there is many other things I can talk about, but I want to simplify this thing here. The most important for you to realize, let's talk about whether you are the person that's looking at PHP, whether you're somebody that's been away from PHP, want to come back, or you're somebody that's in PHP. Let's talk about the person that's not in PHP, that's looking at PHP. Look, I can tell you one thing for a fact. You know, there are many great organizations out there, many of them. I'm somebody that respects anybody that's big in this industry because anybody that's growing the insurance pool benefits all of us. I don't mind it. I respect my competitors. I like all of them. I know all of them. We're in communication, we talk, but I got to tell you, it also depends on what phase of the company you're in. It's very, very important what phase of the company you get into. There's a big difference between going into working with Facebook today versus Facebook when they're coming out and they're trying to compete. There's a big difference in getting into Walmart today. Walmart's got 2.3 million employees nationwide, but Walmart's got 2.3 million employees worldwide, meaning they're already fully established. You would have loved to have worked at Walmart when they only had 15,000 employees. You would have loved to work at Walmart if they only had 10,000 employees, and you become a leader because now you have a voice. This is when you hear about people becoming CEOs of companies like Walmart. We are at a place right now, company-wise, where our vision is to have 500,000 licensed agents by 2029. Now, I know it sounds crazy because we only have 13,800 today. We want to have 500,000 licensed agents by 2029, which is 9 years from now. When we first started PHP, we had 66 agents. From 66 to the last video I did was 3,200 to now 13,800. Think about the difference between 13,800 to 500,000 licensed agents. That's 30 times plus more to get to that number. So if you're watching this right now saying, have I missed it yet? We're not even in UK. I could be in UK tomorrow, Germany, India, China, Japan tomorrow if we wanted to. Now, obviously, some of the controversy with China, but we've spoken to insurance companies in all these different countries. We can be in 20 countries tomorrow. A lot of these guys follow the content. They know who we are. They want us to come in, but we are simply looking for more players for that to be taking place. So imagine if you are building your business with PHP, and all of a sudden you have 1,000 agents, 5,000 agents, 10,000 agents, 20,000 agents. Now you're overriding from different places of India. Now you're overriding Germany. Now you're overriding Spain. Now you're overriding Brazil. Now you're overriding Mexico. Now you're overriding all these other different places because the vision was built to get to that point. So if you're somebody that's in a complete different company and you're thinking about making a move, just know that nobody does it like us. If you're somebody that's you want everything to be very proper, traditional, all this other stuff, we may not be the company for you. But if you're somebody that wants to be in a different kind of a mixture where investors come to our meeting, they cannot believe it. Wait a minute. The average agent is a 59-year-old white male. Why are there so many young men and women in their 30s here? The average agent in our company is a 33-year-old Latino female. Let me say it again, 33-year-old Latino female. Our number one earner in the company is a woman. This isn't just a number we throw out there to you. We tell you what's taking place. Some of the stuff we do as a company is very different than everybody else. Just last week, we sent our women to, I think, the 4th annual ladies event that we do. And when the ladies go, the budget's a big budget. We put them at nice hotels. You know, we take them to spas. We take them to ballet shows. We take them to Broadway shows. We take them all over the world. And these women are able to spend time together and talk about values, what it is to be a mother, what it is to build your marriage stronger, build your life. And more husbands want their wives to be in these meetings. It's such an interesting dynamic that is taking place with the women that are going to win. On top of that, with men, I mean, with husband and wives, everybody, we take our guys all over the world. We've rented out a 20,000 square foot house at Tuscany all the way at the top and hired an Italian chef to cook for us for 6 days straight. And we get together in a 17-bedroom place and we have a blast. And we go all over Italy. We've gone to Greece. We've gone to, if I tell Bora Bora, Dubai, Aspen, Snow, I can't even, I forget the list of places. Every single Caribbean island we've taken our guys to, Croatia. We put guys at the 7-star hotel in, in Dubai. We've done some wild things. We rented out a $100 million yacht and we send our guys out there for being treated with 16, every day they're having caviar, lobster, watermelon juice, all these things that they're doing, just being spoiled while they're jet skiing, their banana boat, and all this stuff that we do with our guys. We do incredible things together, and the best part is, it's a very, I think the closest thing I can tell you is, whether you're on a sports team, you're in the military, you have a certain level of camaraderie with your buddies that you're running together, it's very close to it, if not even better than that, because the way our guys are, the level of unity that we have together when they're running together, it's a whole different story. So you would love to be part of that fraternity. Now, for the other guys that are watching this, if you're somebody that's in PHP, you've been away and you're thinking about wanting to make a move back, I remember the first time I was introduced to this industry, I didn't get in right off the bat. It took me 1.5 years to get back into it. Because for me, it's kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to do financial industry. I'm trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm not. Then all of a sudden, relationship, life change, things change, situations change. Then I'm like, this is a better timing for me. So if you're watching this and you're somewhere in your house, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you just kind of snuck in and you watch this video. You don't even know that we know that you're watching this. I just want you to know, I know you're watching this. And if you're watching this thing, you're saying, but maybe I got to come back. Did Patrick just say Gaetan just bought a Lambo? Did he say Ricky and Erica just bought a Lambo? Sapala bought a Rolls. Sapalas are living out of nearly a 8,000 square foot house on a country club What is the bathroom's bigger than the first house Apollo's had? What are we talking about? What happened to this company? If I'm telling you, if you're doing this, and your life right now isn't that incredible life where you can't sell other people on the life you're living, you may want to consider coming back to PHP and call on a person that you used to work with, because we can sell you this life. Our guys can sell you the life, why it's worth doing this here. And then those of you guys that are on PHP and you're watching this comp for yourself and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, it's pretty intense. This is a tool for you that you can use to share with other people, but it's also important for you to look at the comp and learn how to present the comp for your own self on what you need to do to maximize the comp plan. Are you maximizing the compensation structure by moving up on the senior management bonuses that we pay? Are you maximizing the comp by developing MD so you're getting overrides? Are you maximizing the GP? Are you maximizing the value of your code number? Are you maximizing the $148 million bonus that's on the line? And are you trying to break some records this year to make this the beginning of the greatest years of your life? So in final, here's what I want you to be thinking about. Final, I got into this after military. Never in a million years did I think this was going to take place. Never in a million years did I think this was going to take place. Never did I think this guy is going to meet his wife in the industry and we're going to have 3 kids together. They all go to a private school together. We drop them off to one place. They all love mommy and daddy today, because I'm sure they're going to go through a phase where they're not going to like mommy and daddy because I'm going to be tough or she's going to be tough. But we love, the love we're experiencing, the family, the dreams, every day I wake up, I pinch myself because I think I'm the luckiest man alive to live the life that I'm living. Just because I luckily got introduced to the insurance industry. It's not like people go to college saying, I want to get an insurance degree. People don't go saying that. You get into this industry by purely accident. And you know what's the great thing about this? Everyone always looks at the sexy industries. Real estate, mortgage, pharmaceutical sales. It's always like, oh, those are the sexy hedge funds, stocks. No one looks at insurance. But the best thing about insurance is the fact that no one looks at it. Because when I saw everybody was chasing the next best thing, I saw nobody was looking at this. And this was an industry that was ripe to be disrupted. And that's exactly what we did. And look at where we are right now company-wise. So I'm hoping when you're watching this for yourself, you make a decision. Because I remember clearly, May 29th, I'm in my office. My assistant is standing right there next to me. My sister's outside with my brother-in-law, Siamak. And we're about to go visit family that weekend, Saturday. It's like 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We're about to go. It's May 29th, May 30th. We're about to go, and I look at my direct deposit. That month, I made $18,495. When I looked at it, I'm looking at saying, I cannot believe I made it. I show it to my dad. My dad doesn't believe it because my dad was a 99-cent store cashier. My mom went back to Iran because we ran out of money. My dad was making $1,500 a month working as a cashier. I'm a guy that went to high school with a 1.8 GPA. I went to the Army because I didn't have a lot of alternatives. And I'm looking at my deposit. It says $18,495. That is the last time I ever worried about money ever again, that day. I got in the car, and I'm not telling anybody because I don't want to kind of flaunt it. I'm just kind of like, I can't believe this just happened. And I'm going, we visit family, we come back. Like, if I can make $18,495, I can make $30,000. If I can make 30, I can make 50, 100, 200, a million, 10 million, 100 million. What is the level on this? Because it's just a number. I cannot tell you how exciting and exhilarating that was for me. And I'm hoping for you, if I made a decision back on May 29th of 2004, that's going to be the last time my mom, my dad was going to reach in their pocket to try to pay for anything. I said, no more. After now on, everything's on dad, on your son here. You did it for me, now it's my turn. I would love for you to experience that feeling as well and take it to higher levels. Show your kids the world. Let their eyes see stuff that you and I didn't see, to say, oh my gosh, wow, dad, look at that building they built. Look at that tower. Look at these plants. Look at the way the water looks. Dad, I didn't know water could be this clear. This is crazy stuff. That's the stuff you want to do. You want to do that stuff. You and your wife dreamt about this stuff before you got married. You and your husband dreamt about this. You would sit with your friends and your brothers and your sisters. You would dream about this life. You dreamt about this life. Don't let the world and the media confuse you to know that you were not meant to do something big with your life. Do not forget that dream machine. We have it here. All I'm encouraging you to do is the following. If number one, you were the person that's watching this compensation video and somebody else gave it to you, contact the person. Get to know us a little bit better. Who knows? Maybe you're not a fit. Maybe we're not a fit. But let's at least take the next step and see if there's a fit here or not. Number two, if you were the person that was kind of stepped away for about a year and a half, come back. Come on back. Come back with the events in 6 months, in a few months. Let's have some fun together in 2020. We got a lot of stuff on the line. I want to see you here very soon. And if you're somebody in the company right now and you're watching this comp plan saying, I forgot about this stuff, kind of settle down, put a strategy together, and go take action and make 2020 the beginning of the greatest years of your life. I cannot wait to see you at a big event coming soon. Take care, everybody.